Hello there, this is Tristan Schmidt, here to show you my challenge for the first lab. Um, so I messed around a lot with the grid terrain and kind of making that look a bit more mountainous. I wanted to add some like larger valleys in here, and so I have things like that going through here. And then I also kind of wanted to have like a central mountain, and so I added a second sphere and then added a mountain onto it, UV texture, and then made it so that I could adjust the color on it. And what I wanted to do as well was be able to kind of add vertices to this and kind of make it look a bit more like a mountain. Now of course, this is all procedural, so the only way I could really change that was by being on the mountain itself and then messing with the amplitude like this. And so I just kind of messed with that until I got to a shape that, was mountain-like. But yeah, so that's what I went for. And like I said in the lab video, I really just wanted to make it look a little bit more realistic. And of course, this isn't a very realistic looking mountain in the center here, but I feel like the terrain, messing around with all of the amplitude on that. So here, I'll show you that on the grid. So I turn the size up. It's 50 by 50 rows, and then on the mountain I mess around with the uh, amplitude until it was to a spot that I felt looked a bit more like realistic terrain. And then I also mess around with the original amplitude on the first sphere to make those look a little bit more rocky. And then I did have a different texture on here before, and I went in and kind of looked at a few other ones. I believe I have the dirt texture on right now. Now I couldn't quite figure out how to separate the textures so I could have a separate UV or a separate texture or material on the rocks themselves than what's on the grid. So that's something I'm gonna have to look into a little bit more. But overall, I think that this looks a lot more like a mountain range sort of texture. Now, of course, the scale of this is kind of up to what you want to do with it. Whether or not this is going to be a kind of ground surface, much smaller texture, or if this is the entire landscape of what the level is going to be. But I kind of just wanted to make it a little bit more natural looking and things like that. So yeah, so definitely I learned a lot more about how the amplitude works and how to scale things up, and then also how to change the color attributes more. And I can definitely see how you can kind of make this more and more complicated as you go along. And kind of the coolest part of it is that we can kind of continue to spread this out, and you could make an entire field of this texture here. So yeah, so that's all I have for now, and I will see you in the next one.